Welcome, everyone. You've reached Grandma Mo, and we're covering the WNBA games played. It's Thursday. These were on Amazon Prime. So we had first game of the day was the New York Liberty against the Mystics, and this was played in New York. This game was, it was close in the first half. The Mystics were hanging with New York in the first half, but the lineups that New York had put in, there was a period of time where there wasn't one guard on the floor. You had Mieseman, you had Phoebus, you had Talbot, you had Harrison, and you had Stewie. And Stewie was bringing the ball up. I'm looking around like, there's not one guard on the floor. It didn't hurt him. You know, they still worked the ball around and everything and got the ball inside. And the other thing about this game it was cool, it was funny, so Maureen Johannes gets the ball and, she does those one-handed kind of sling passes. So Kiki Iriafen, for some reason, is guarding her. And she's over on the, lower wing, almost to the corner. And she does one of those one-handed sling passes right through her legs. And it goes right to, I think, Mieseman. And it was funny because right after she did that, she kind of smiled. And Iriafen looks at her and she's like, I can't believe you just did that. And they were both laughing going down the court after whoever it was scored the basket. But it was like, you don't see that every day. Excuse me, that's a thing Maureen Johannes will do. And, she was hitting her threes tonight, too. She was like the one guard that was playing. And, when they put her out, they just left all the forwards in. And, it looked like the Mystics just kind of ran out of gas. And the Mystics only ended up with 2 players in double figures, which was Citron and Iriafen. Everyone else didn't. They just didn't get enough from the rest of their players. There's a number of players that only had 2 points, 5 points. Just not enough to compete with New York. Meanwhile, New York had 5 players in double figures. The leading scorer was Isabelle Harrison with 16 points. And then you had Mieseman with 15. You had Johannes with 14. Stewie had 12. And Stephanie Talbot. Good game for Stephanie Talbot. She was my main team is the Valkyries. And we ended up letting her go. And good for her. She got with the Liberty and she hit a couple threes. She made some great passes to 2 of them that really were great passes to Mieseman. She got layups. She ended up getting 11 points, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds. 2 steals. She had 2 turnovers. She was 3 for 5 from the free throw line. She was 2 for 3 from 3 and 3 for 4 overall. So I'm happy for Stephanie Talbot. That was a nice performance for her. So the Liberty get the win, 89-63. And if you could hit that subscribe button for me, appreciate that. Washington ended up outscoring New York in the first quarter, 20-18. Then New York came back, 25-17, and they just outscored them the rest of the game. 19-12 in the third, and then 27-14 in the fourth. They pulled away in the fourth because it was close into the third quarter, and then New York just pulled away. It was like the Mystics didn't have anything left. You had Citron with 18 points and Iriafen with 16. And then your next closest scorer was Lucy Olson, who came in near the end of the game. She played 17 minutes. She had 9 points. But you had Shakira Austin. She was only 3 for 11. Her shooting, because they would have needed more help from her. She only scored 7 points. She had 2 turnovers, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds. And then Sutton only scored 2 points. Clark only scored 2 points. Inksler had 5. She was 2 for 7. They were struggling down low. They're bigger players. Melbourne had 2. Dolson didn't score. And Madison Scott came in the end of the game, and she hit a hoop. So the Mystics shot 41%, 20% from 3. They only made 5 3-pointers, whereas the Liberty made 10 of 21. And the Mystics were 5 of 24. And then New York went to the foul line 28 times. Mystics went 6. That's not going to work out so well for you. So Washington has now dropped to 16 and 23, and they're pretty much out of the playoffs now. They would have to overtake the Sparks, and Seattle ended up beating Minnesota today, so it's unlikely that the Mystics, even if they won out, they'd make the playoffs. You'd have to have at least one of the one of those 4 teams that are battling for the last 3 spots, like, lose every game, and Washington would have to win every game to even be. Actually, you'd have to have 2 teams do that, so it's pretty unlikely. But you know, the Mystics have had a good season. They have a nice, good-looking young team, and they have good draft picks for next year too. So everything in Washington is looking up. New York is now 24 and 15. They are still in 5th place because Phoenix won. But you have 3 teams with 14 losses. So with 6 games left, you know, you have Atlanta, Phoenix, and the Aces all have 14 losses. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Washington had 34 points in the paint to New York's 28. New York had more fast break points. Washington had more second chance points. Turnovers were 12 to 9. Washington had 12, but New York got 24 points off those 12 turnovers. And Washington only got 4 off the 9. So, looking at New York, they shot 50% as a team, 47% from 3, and then they were 82% from the line, 23 for 28. They out-rebounded Washington 35 to 22. So you had Kennedy Burke with 7 points. She was 1 for 5. She went to the foul line 6 times, made 5 of them. Meesman, 15 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. She was 6 for 9. She's very efficient. You know, she's not the fastest person on the court, but she's very efficient. And no turnovers this time because she's starting to get used to everybody. Most of her turnovers were in the preceding games were things like passing to someone when she thought they were going to be in a spot and they weren't. Stewie didn't have to do a whole lot in this game. She had 12 points. She had a steal, a turnover, an assist, 9 rebounds. She was 4 for 9. She made a 3 and 3 for 4 at the line. Phoebish, 6 points. She only took 3 shots. She went to the line 4 times, made them all. She got 3 rebounds, an assist, and a turnover. Johannes, you know, she made that funky pass. It was cool, though. Right through the legs of Iriafen. So 14 points for her. She had a turnover, 5 assists, 1 rebound. She was 3 for 8 from 3, 4 for 10 overall, and 3 for 3 at the line. Gardner came in. She had 8 points, 3 rebounds, a steal, and a turnover. She was 100%. She made a 3, and she was 3 for 3 overall. And Stephanie Talbot, we went over already. And Isabelle Harrison came. This was her first game back. She was out on concussion protocol, but she was the leading scorer with 16 points. She had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. She was 6 for 13 overall. She made both of her threes she put up and both of her foul shots. So, New York gets the win, and we're moving on. So, anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.